Stories can be told in many ways. Some are told through words, some are told through images. Cinema is unique in its medium by the fact that their stories are told by the cut between them. What we cut from or cut to directly tells us about the story of a scene. This is the underlying principle of the Kuleshov effect. But how does this effect change as it compounds upon itself through transition and montage? Social media didn't invent this grammar, neither did Hollywood. Its lineage begins much earlier, in the ideological laboratories of post-revolutionary Russia. In the theories of Soviet montage, we find the DNA of the digital gaze. In 1964, Marshall MacLuhan articulated a concept that would define media theory for decades. The medium is the message. He argued that the properties of a medium, its speed, sensory balance, and structure, shape how messages are received, processed, and understood, independent of their content. A message delivered via print encourages linear thought. A message delivered via television fragments time and space. And a message delivered via algorithmic video platforms reorders cognition itself. MacLuhan illustrated this with provocative metaphors. Crying fire in a theatre incites panic. Reading the word fire in a poem prompts reflection. The content is identical. The context, the medium, transforms its impact. Among the many technological forms MacLuhan anticipated, one particular structure embodies his insights with surgical clarity: montage. It is through montage that media most explicitly rearranges not just what we see, but how we see it. The cinematic montage, as theorized by Lev Kuleshov and Sergei Eisenstein, was never just a tool of narrative. It was, from its inception, a political device. The so-called Kuleshov effect demonstrated how meaning emerges not just from individual images, but from their sequencing. The same expression on an actor's face could evoke hunger, grief, or desire, depending on the images surrounding it. Eisenstein took this further, proposing intellectual montage as a dialectical process. The collision of shots produced a new, synthesized meaning in the viewer's consciousness. Montage was revolutionary, not merely in theme, but in form. It disrupted continuity, accelerated time, and created associations through juxtaposition. It was intended to mobilize the masses, to awaken them to ideology, but MacLuhan's analysis shifts the focus. The enduring impact of montage is not just ideological, but perceptual. The cut itself, its tempo, its placement, its repetition becomes the message. MacLuhan famously stated, "We shape our tools and thereafter our tools shape us." What began as a revolutionary device became cinematic convention. Hollywood appropriated montage but softened its rough edges into continuity editing, designed to immerse the viewer rather than provoke them. Later, the music video era would accelerate the pace again, privileging rhythm and effect over spatial logic. By the time of YouTube, the jump cut re-emerged as a tool of authenticity and immediacy. But it is on TikTok, Reels and Shorts that montage returns in its simplest, most distilled form. These platforms do not merely host montage, they algorithmically enforce it. The cut becomes data-driven. Shot length, transition type, even microsecond delays are tested against retention metrics. The result is a media environment in which attention is constantly harvested, recalibrated, and weaponized. The montage is no longer a stylistic choice, it is infrastructure. MacLuhan distinguished between hot and cool media. Hot media are high definition and data rich, requiring little participation from the viewer. Cool media, by contrast, are low resolution, ambiguous, and demand active interpretation. The cinematic montage, especially in its modern algorithmic form, is a hot medium par excellence. Its pace, saturation, and emotive intensity leave no room for ambiguity. Yet what happens when this hot medium becomes the dominant cognitive environment? When every stimulus is curated to optimize arousal and reduce friction? We see the emergence of a perceptual economy in which even our capacity for reflection is mediated through the tempo of a feed. And this tempo is not universal by accident. Digital montage has become global, transcending language and culture. This accelerated tempo isn't accidental. It reflects the rise of digital montage as a global visual language. Across TikToks in Seoul and fan edits in Cairo, rapid cuts, zoom punches and beat-synced glitches function like a shared grammar, transcending spoken language. In MacLuhan's terms, this is the global village, realised not metaphorically but through the medium's inherent logic. These dense, high-definition edits exemplify hot media, immersive, data-rich, and demanding less participation. Yet they circulate on cold platforms like TikTok, which encourage interaction, remix, and commentary. The tension between hot content and cold context defines how noun travels. The invisible form. MacLuhan warned that the effects of media operate not at the level of opinions or concepts, but at the level of sense ratios. The montage logic is not something we debate, it is something we inhabit. The more ubiquitous it becomes, the less visible it is. The cut, once a shock, becomes a baseline. We don't notice it, we internalise it. This invisibility is its most powerful feature. When we scroll through dozens of videos per minute, what governs our engagement is not the substance of each clip, but the rhythm of transition. The structure of attention becomes automated. Cognition is no longer shaped by our interpretation of content, but by its consumption or rather modulation, its tempo, its flow, its frictionlessness. In such an environment, the montage no longer reflects reality, it manufactures it. If MacLuhan offered any remedy, it was this: awareness. To become conscious of a medium is to reclaim some agency over its effects. To notice the cuts is to see the scaffolding behind the spectacle. This does not mean rejecting all rapid media or retreating into nostalgia. It means re-examining our perceptual defaults. The montage needs not be manipulative. It can be poetic, critical, slow, but only if we remain attuned to its function. Only if we remember that form is never neutral. The cut is never merely a technical operation. It is a cognitive event, a political gesture, a cultural code. So the next time the feed pulls you in, ask not what you're watching, ask how you're being made to watch. The message is not the content, it's in the cut.